Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Artificial intelligence, a boon or a bane? Is it more beneficial to us or more detrimental to our life? Let's take a look. Now, this current artificial intelligence, I think we are very familiar with ChatGPT. I'm sure almost all of us have used that. And you can ask it any question. It can give you very, very convincing answers. Okay, those of you who have not tried it, you may want to do that. And then after that, a lot of other applications spring up. Google, for example, has its own artificial intelligence. Then we have AI to snap photo and edit. And then you have also AI to use video, make this guy sing or talk in whichever language or whatever thing that you want it to talk, you will talk. And then you have video editing, you have photo editing, you even have artificial intelligence in different languages. So in this case here, it says, cara cepat review journal pakai AI. So you can review any journal using artificial intelligence. Let's look at the situation just before this current artificial intelligence come up. Actually, it was already there, whether we realize it or not. Google search, for example, it uses some kind of intelligence to find what you want online, even though it doesn't give you the actual answer, but it tells you, it gives you the location for you to find it. Customer service, they are using bots or robots to answer your questions. And then you have Siri, for those who are using iPhone, that you can ask limited number of questions, but you can ask it anyway, and Alexa. And then in terms of watching things on TV, they remember what you watch, and they will give you some proposals, some suggestions on what you can watch as well. So there's some kind of intelligence they use. And there are many other things, translation, social media, face recognition system now used almost everywhere, and then photo editing. So those are some examples of already artificial intelligence applications that were there that we probably not realize it as artificial intelligence. Now, what is this so much talk about the fear of the coming of AI, artificial intelligence? Now, let's look at the history a little bit. When I was studying engineering many years ago, we have this calculator in which the university banned us from using it in the exam hall because they say if you use calculator, you will not be using your brain. And what they want us to use is this slide rule, which you may or may not know what it is. As we know already, the slide rule is now no more there, right? And even the calculators now replaced with laptops and other gadgets. So the fear was not founded at that time. Then when I was in manufacturing, we replaced things, operations such as inspection and repairing of parts using operators. And we have thousands and thousands of operators. And we wanted to introduce automation system using robots. And they were concerned that robots will replace the operators. So currently, almost any manufacturing system using robots. And are they really replacing human? Now, the last thing that I want to show you here is this lady here. It talks like a woman. It responds to you like a woman in words. But I think most of you will agree with me that this robot will never replace the real thing. So let's see what are some of the concerns. The first and foremost is they say AI tools will replace your jobs. So that's the main concern about artificial intelligence, job displacement. And then you have loss of human interactions because people are, even right now you can see human interaction in terms of face-to-face People prefer to do online, or they use applications such as WhatsApp and Instagram and TikTok and things like that. Then we have technological dependency. Even our small kids are using gadgets. And when they sit in a restaurant, for example, they always use their gadget. So they are too much dependent on their gadget. Then we have lack of control. It appears as if those gadgets are controlling our lives rather than we controlling them. So now everybody can use ChatGPT, so it's almost out of control already. Then ethical implications. Can we use the data inside given by ChatGPT for our advantage? So sometimes the decisions that is suggested by artificial intelligence may not be ethical either. And then we have security risk. They use artificial intelligence to hack your computers to get your personal data and so on. So that's a risk. And then critical thinking capability. Just like the calculator, you say when you use calculator, you will not be thinking about numbers anymore. And then this is where here our main concern is educational learning. When ChatGPT is there, number one, you can ask any question, so you want to get any information, you can learn through that. So why do we need lecturers, right? And then in the exam hall, on the online exam, they can just use ChatGPT to provide the answer, and that's it. They may be able to get full mark. So there is concern that artificial intelligence will reduce the way traditional way of learning. Let's look at the advantages. Ease of getting information. Now, information is at your fingertips. You can just type any questions, any data that you want. The artificial intelligence will provide you with the answers. And it's amazing. If you have tried it, it is almost instantaneous, and the contents is almost like it is responded by a human being. And then you have enhanced decision making. If you are not sure about how you can make the decision, you can ask for advice on what are the considerations that you have to make, and then after you evaluated that, what is the best decision. And then advanced problem solving. Similarly, if you have a problem, you can just ask artificial intelligence and to guide you on how to solve the problem and get to the answer. Then medical care enhancement. This is where it is not to replace the doctor, but if you have something that you want to ask about health condition, then you can ask. For example, the other day, I drink a lot of I like to drink a lot of cold water, including ice water. So many people say, no, you shouldn't drink. It is a health hazard. So I asked ChatGPT, is it really that if you drink a cold drink, especially with ice, it's detrimental to your health? The answer, as a conclusion, it says, no, it's not. However, you have to take a certain precautions. In a certain weather, for example, it can cause dehydration and so on. So that helps me to decide whether I should drink cold water or not, right? And give me a peace of mind that it's not a health hazard. Improve customer service. So now the answering service, for example, is even more intelligent to answer very specific questions that you have. The people who actually are customer service people can also get help from artificial intelligence. Security enhancement, just as they can hack your computer, you can also enhance it using artificial intelligence. Accessibility and inclusion. This means that everyone, almost everyone, can get access to artificial intelligence, and it includes everything. So there's no discrimination. If somebody asks this question, it will answer differently. And if you want to get answers, it can refuse you the answer no. So you get accessibility and inclusion, and it actually creates innovation and creativity. Because if you use the artificial intelligence intelligently, you just get some basic information, and from that information, you can develop new things. Okay, let's go back to the the disadvantages or the bane of artificial intelligence, and let's address it one by one. The one on top of the list is job displacement. So how do you do that? Job displacement, just like the operators manning the inspection area, and then it was replaced by robots. Now the operators could do something else, a value-added thing. For example, like manning the machine itself, or designing a better process. So really, it's not really job displacement, but making those manual, redundant jobs much easier for us to do. And then you have security risk. This can be controlled by law, privacy protection measures. There's already some form of that. That is to say, if you hack into somebody's computer and you get caught, then there's no forgiveness for you. And then ethical implication, to make sure that those people who design the artificial intelligence has unbiased algorithm, especially if you want to talk about races, religion, and so on. And by the same token, those people who design that should be from various backgrounds, so that then they can have check and balance. And then you have loss of human interaction. Yeah, this is one of the most difficult to overcome. However, we can overcome that by public awareness and engagement with the public, that other than using your gadgets, you can interact socially, face-to-face in some events. Okay, and then another one is public education, lack of control. Again, one of the ways you can do it is just to raise the awareness of the public that some of the things that you can do yourself, and do not fear the artificial intelligence to take control of your life, because you will never do that. Now the next three, I will address it by way of an example of what I just did to my students recently. I gave them an assignment, okay, individual assignment, where I asked them to use GPT AI to write an essay on several topics. So they have to choose one topic and do it. So I said, comment on the essay and expand the ideas using your own opinion and other references, and so on. So the results was remarkable. Only one person that I found to really just copy and paste without making too many amendments, but the rest of them, they actually express their own ideas. So they read what is the content, and they think, and they provide the answers, very intelligent answers. All right. So that is one successful implementation of ChatGPT. So for the educators, do not be afraid to use this. For me, as far as the students learn something from it, from wherever, then I will encourage them to do that. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, back to the question of artificial intelligence, a boon or bane. I think it is clear to you what my answer to this. So the question to you is whether you think it is in this dynamic world, it is a boon, or you think you will just want to live in the status quo and it is a bane. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Experiential learning. What is experiential learning? I am Muhammad Firas Qasid bin Muhammad Hanif, and today I stand before you to share the incredible power of experiential learning and its transformative impact it has on our education. In a world dominated by textbooks and lecture, there is immense value in stepping out of the traditional classroom and embracing hands-on education. As the great philosopher Confucius said, I hear and I forget. I see and I do. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. It is through immersive experience that we truly develop the skills and grasp of knowledge. Experiential learning adventure takes us beyond the confined four walls, allowing us to explore, discover, and learn in ways that engage all of our senses. When we engage in hands-on activities, we activate multiple areas of our brain, enhancing our ability to retain information and make meaningful connections. Albert Einstein aptly said, learning is experience. Everything else is just information. Who else better to give us an example, if not the great Islamic scholar Imam Malik radiallahu anhu, who would only become a teacher after studying under 900 teachers himself. And this is the case with so many other great scholars, leaders, and successful individuals. They would humble themselves, go through difficult experiences, just to get the idea, the experience, so that one day they will be able to achieve success. In fact, after being in the highest position available, or the highest position possible, Imam Malik will still humble himself and seek the knowledge he feels he is lacking from a common individual. This is the true meaning of experiential learning. The experience that one goes through with dedication and persistence will surely build character and understanding. As we all know, this Imam school of thought is widely accepted in the Islamic world. One of the greatest advantages of experiential learning adventure is the opportunity to apply theoretical knowledge in real-life situations. It is through these experiences that we understand the relevance and practicality of what we have learned. As Benjamin Franklin wisely stated, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. When we actively participate with our surroundings, the concept we learn becomes more tangible, leaving a longer and lasting impression. Now, let me share with you my own experience. I was in Rotterdam of August of last year as an exchange student. I was exposed to so many opportunities and experiences. And of course, we had our daily classes where we learned the theoretical side of things, but we also had many excursions, site visits, and study visits to the industry. And one of the most memorable excursions that I have is a visit to the port of Rotterdam. It is the largest port in Europe. It is the most sustainable port in the world, and it's also one of the most innovative ports in the world. And this port is called MUSTtalk. Here is where I truly understand and experience the power of sustainable and green energy. You see, here in Malaysia, we are taught that green and sustainable energy is something that we should use as our main power source and no longer as alternative. But the problem that we have is that, or at least the common impression here in our classroom, is that the usage of sustainable or green energy is not yet fully adaptable or usable, as its capacity is not yet in par with what our nation needs as well as the industrial needs. During the drive around the port, we were told that each terminal had their own wind turbine operating and supplying those green powers back to the terminal operation. Not just that, there are even wind turbines placed in the deep sea to support the operations of those terminals as well as the entire port. And let me just show you a few pictures that I have online here. And this is a video. As you can see, the wind turbine is massive. It is really massive. And if you look on the left-hand side, below there, those are the wind turbine that is yet to be assembled. and it's going to be shipped to the United Kingdom. So why is this fresh in my memory? Because I was there on the ground. I engaged with my tour guide. I engaged with my lecturers. I engaged with the industry representative, as well as the port operator, a representative on the ground. I asked questions, be it something that was weird, something that was abnormal. I asked, because that's how I learn. And that's how I learn through experience. And all of this has a lasting impression on me, because I was there on the ground and I experienced it firsthand. So today, when I'm at work and we talk about sustainability, I look at not what it will do, but at what it can do and what potential it can bring to our organization as well as the environment. By immersing ourselves in diverse culture, unfamiliar environment, and unique experiences, we develop empathy, open-mindedness, and resilience. Experiential learning adventure inspires us to explore and seek answers to the unknown, ultimately driving innovation and progress. Moreover, these hands-on educational experience foster invaluable lifetime skills, such as problem solving, critical thinking, as well as adaptability. When faced with real-world challenges, we must think on our feet and devise creative solutions on the spot. And as Steve Jobs famously remarked, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Experiential learning nurtures the spirit of innovation within us. It encourages us to think differently and embrace change. And Helen Keller beautifully captured this sentiment when she said, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Now let's take a look at ourselves. Yes, all of you who are seated here today, especially those online. You are not the same individual you were 5 or 10 years ago. Maybe even 30 minutes ago. Something could have happened outside right before you walk through the door or before you turn on your devices. They changed your perspective. An experience that led you to challenge the concept that you already understand. And that is experiential learning, be it how small or how big it is. By going through hardship and sometimes pain, you develop your character and skill that makes you a much more better as well as a sharper person. You learn all this only by going through it, by experiencing it. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, experiential learning adventure offers a gateway to a world of endless possibilities. They ignite our curiosity, expand our horizon, and instill a lifelong love of learning. Let us embrace hands-on power. Let us embrace hands-on education and encourage our students, our future leaders, to embark on this transformative journey. For it is through experiential learning that they will find their true potential and discover their purpose and make a lasting impact on the world. Before I end my speech, I would like to leave all of you with a piece of advice, or at least something that I live by. Do not shy away from experience. Embrace it. Be it something that is painful, something that is hard, something that is joyful. Embrace it. Go through it with your head high. Because let me tell you, this experience or this hardship that you're going through now will only contribute to your success in the future. With that, I end my speech. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you for a while, next we will have Amira to come up and give her speech. Thank you.
very good day to everyone. Hi, my name is Amira, and today I'll walk through you to the paradigm shift in education. Paradigm shift has come in a very long way, from traditional learning to digital learning, from offline classes to online classes. Today, I will be sharing with you my personal experience on how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected my learning study experience. And at the end of my story, we will see whether we can replace virtual classroom to a traditional classroom. Before we begin, let us take a look at the definition of the paradigm shift. According to Tanya, she said that paradigm shift is a change, a major change that happens when the usual way of thinking or doing something is replaced by a new and a different way. So in simple terms, paradigm shift is a transition or a transformation. And it can go from a bad transition to good transition or the other way around. It really depends on the event that we are looking at. And so, if we look at the paradigm shift in education, it is the transition or transformation or various changes that happens in the traditional way of learning and teaching process. So what are the major changes, you would ask? Now let us take a look at these two pictures and compare. The one that is on my right is a typical classroom of a secondary or a primary school in Malaysia. So as you can see here, it is very basic. You have a whiteboard, some schools have blackboard, and you have tables and chairs and the students learning in class. But as you progress to tertiary education, college, universities, you will have extra things in the classroom. As you can see here, it's very obvious. There is a LCD projector screen, and the students are allowed to bring their phones, tablets, and laptops to class. Which means in tertiary education, the schools, the universities, the colleges, they are encouraging students to utilize their digital equipment in class to find their resources. That was before the pandemic happens. During pandemic, this is my classroom. I have to attend online class. And the tools that we use are Zooms and Microsoft Teams. So it's a very different settings. And if you ask me, how did I survive online classes? Well, to be frank, the thought of attending online class isn't that really difficult because all you have to do is you wake up, open your laptop or your phone or whatever your devices, log into MS Teams or Zooms, and attend the class. Simple as that. And most importantly, you need to have an internet connection or else you won't be able to attend the class. And it is also very easy because you only have to be seen virtually there. You can be virtually online, but not physically online. What I mean is, the student, they can just, especially if they have morning classes, 8 a.m., the student can wake up from their bed, go to their laptop, open, log into MS Teams or Zoom, attend the class, and they can go back to bed and sleep. That's what the students do. And then students will hear this magic word. Thank you, class. And then the students will wake up and say, okay, thank you, sir, thank you, madam, and then they will leave the meeting, the online class. So it's not really, it's very simple for students, right? Students take it easy when it comes to online classes. But let's be real. There are other factors or challenges when it comes to online classes. So let's take a look. The first challenge, poor internet connectivity. When things are online, it is important for you to have a good access to internet, Wi-Fi. If you have a strong Wi-Fi, you are able to attend classes very easily. Lecturers are able to conduct their classes very well. If you have a slow Wi-Fi, then you'll always be lagging in class. You won't understand what the lecturer is trying to deliver to you. And at the end of the day, they will just give up trying. They will just send a message to their lecturer saying, "Hi, lecturer, I am not able to attend your class today because of slow internet connectivity, therefore I will be absent." And there's no choice. Lecturers have no choice. They just have to accept that reason, even though if the students are lying. And the second challenge is distractions. When I talk about distractions, it's more towards sound. You know, when you attend class at home as a student, there are sounds where you hear and noises when you hear that you won't able to get it if you are attending physical classes. For example, if your mother is a housewife and she likes cooking, she will be using the blender very loudly in the kitchen. Zzz, right? And especially, it will be a distraction for you, especially if you are trying to do a presentation online in class. And if your mother likes to do house cleaning, she will be using the vacuum cleaner. Also, very loud, disturbing your online class. And then, if you have siblings who don't go to school, they will be shouting or crying or fighting in the background. It's also a very disturbing thing for you. You will lose your focus, you will feel annoyed, and you don't have the heart to attend the class anymore because you are more focused to the sound around you in the background. And if you have neighbors who have nothing else to do because it was during the pandemic, right? During PKP, no one else is allowed to go out, you are able to go out. So what they do is they try to make their house prettier by doing some minor renovations. They'll be drilling, hammering the wall, right? And it's also a very big disturbance to me. And then, this, especially if the lectures get very, very mundane. As for me, or a typical student, we will start to take out our handphone, open up Instagram or YouTube, start scrolling things up online, or even play games. So this is a personal thing. Unless you are a very disciplined student, then you wouldn't do this. You will instead put your 100% of your focus into the class, or else you'll be doing this. And finally, there will be some little cute distractions. If you have a pet at home, your cat is your boss to you. And when I'm attending online class at home, in my room, I'll be turning on my aircon, and cats, they like warm places. So they will just jump onto your laptop and block off your computer screen. And it'll be very, very annoying to move them out because, you know, it's a cat, so cute. All right, the next challenge is about technical issues. So if you attend online class, you need to have very, very good digital devices, equipments. You need to have a good headphone, microphone, so that you are able to listen the lectures properly, so that when you speak onto the microphone, the lecturers are able to listen to your audio clearly. I have a friend, she owns a MacBook. While me, myself, I own a laptop, which is MSI brand. So whenever we are giving out a presentation, my friend can easily talk onto her MacBook and her audio will be very, very clear. While me, myself, I have to invest in special equipments like microphones and headphones and so on. Because when I talk directly onto my laptop without an extra microphone, an external microphone, the other person on the screen won't be able to hear me clearly. Because maybe my laptop, the microphone receiver isn't that well. So that's why I have to invest in external microphone. So that all these minor technical issues we have if we have to conduct things online. And then this is also one of the challenges where at the end of the day it will be very, very tiring because you keep looking at the screen and your face will look like this, bored. Now, let us compare physical classes or face-to-face classes and online classes. So the first thing that we want to look at is attendance. Now, when you talk about attendance, attending online classes is very easy because you just have to log on to your computer, attend the class, and you're good to go. But attending a physical class can be very challenging, especially if you have to commute to campus. Like me, myself, I stay a little bit far from campus. I have to walk a 15 minutes distance of walking to campus. So I have to get myself ready earlier. I have to wake up earlier, bath and everything, walk, and to make sure that I can attend to class on time. But when it comes to online class, you don't have to bath, you don't have to wash your face, you don't have to brush your teeth. You just wake up from your bed, enter and go. Because why? Because lecturers won't be able to see you. You'll be turning off your webcam, correct? Unless the lecturer demands you, then that is a different story. Even though the lecturer won't even know that you're smelly because you didn't go to bath before entering the class, you know what I mean? Anyway, then the next thing that we want to compare is assignments. When we talk about assignments, doing assignments online and physical is similar nowadays because all the tasks and submissions are all done online. There is a web portal. Every university has it. You just open the link, upload your file, and submit. You are done. But back in the day, let's say 5 years back, where portals are not fully utilized, right? You have to print out a hard copy version of your assignments, of your reports. And then only you come to campus, submit it to your lecturer. Same goes to presentations. Sometimes if you do presentations online, you just do it online, or the lecturer will ask you to record a presentation and upload it and submit it. But if it's physical, you have to come in physically. You have to be in front of the class, on stage, be in front of people. So it's a really different experience. Which comes to my third topic, presentations. You see, if you give presentations online, I would say it is very boring because there is not much of interaction that you can see, right, compared to if you are giving presentations physically. Like here, right now, when I'm giving a presentation physically, I can look at my audience, I can know who you are, we have eye contact. And we have some reactions. I can know that whether you are agreeing with me or not, or you can relate to me or not. But if it's online, your audience might not be necessarily opening their webcam. And so there is no eye contact. So when it comes to communication, I believe eye contact is very, very important because from there we can connect. So human connection is more available when you're doing face-to-face, but not so really when it comes to online. And finally, exams. Exam. Doing exam online is so much easier when you have to do it physical, because if it's online exam, it means that it is an open book. Open book exam means you have access to your web search engine, Google, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, and so on. So what will students do when they're having online exam is that they will copy the question, paste it into the search engine, and click enter, and the answers will all come out. Then the students will take the points and elaborate themselves and answer the question, blah, blah, blah. So this also means that students doesn't have to put their full effort into doing their revisions, because they can find answers online. It's basically free cheating for them. But not for physical exams, because for physical exams, you have to enter the hall, right? And before entering the hall, they have to check you, see whether you are bringing smartphones or your small notes or your phones. If they caught you bringing that, they will confiscate it. So cheating is not allowed when you are sitting for a physical exam. Now, my big question is, can virtual classrooms replace traditional classroom settings? My answer is no. Virtual classrooms cannot 100% replace traditional classroom settings, because I believe that face-to-face connection is important. It is important to have a real eye connection with the people that you're talking to, so that we can relate to each other more. And because of that, since we are living in a digitalized world, there is a new approach when it comes to this kind of settings. We call it the hybrid approach, where we combine online system and the offline system together. So that is why today, when I attend classes, you are allowed to submit your tasks, your assignments online. And sometimes if the lecturer is lenient, they allow you to take mini quizzes online using a system where we call it Blended Learning Management System, BLMS. So this is very useful as how we are adopting technology into our education system. And with that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have a presentation to share. And the reason for that is because what I'm going to talk about is personal. It's personal to me, it's personal to you, it's personal to every one of us. I want to talk about life and how life has changed, how life is changing, and how we continue to redefine what life means. This is the year 2023. So let me just take us back to the year 1. The year 1 to the year 999, the first 1,000 years, first millennium, so to speak. What was life during that period? People were involved in fighting. There's a lot of wars. And that was the origination of the army. That's why all countries have armies today, because it's a legacy from the first millennium. They were busy trying to eat and to prepare material to eat. So eating and whatever it required and fighting whenever it occurred were the primary concerns of the people who lived in the first 1,000 years. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have water. Their hygiene was extremely bad. The earlier speakers talked about online class, you don't have to have a bath. It's a choice. The first 1,000 years, it wasn't a choice. It was the way things were. If you wanted water, you needed to go to the river, to the sea, else you don't have water. You never had bathrooms wherever you lived. Your toilets were out in the open, together with nature. That was the first 1,000 years. That was life. Then you take a step forward from the year 1000 to the year 1999 or 1999, the next 1,000 years. Major change. Life was just taken and transformed into so many different bits and pieces that anyone who lived during the period of 1000 to 1999, if you pluck them out and put them in the first millennium, they couldn't survive. They couldn't survive because now they had water, now they had electricity, now they had structure, which was the biggest element in the last millennium. They had a structure for everything. You want education? There's a structure. You want a government? There's a structure. You want religion? There's a structure. You want to get married? There's a structure. You want to die? There's a structure. So structure became the eureka of the last 1,000 years. Anything and everything has a structure. And the classiest example of that is the government. Someone dies, you need a piece of paper to say this person is dead. You don't need a doctor. I need a piece of paper. Someone wants to get married. The government says, you need a piece of paper. I want to cross the causeway. They say, you need a piece of paper. So structures started taking root in every phase of life. And all of us are a product from the last millennium. We have crossed over to this third millennium, which started in the year 2000. What we also had in the last millennium was the growth of internet. It started. What is the internet? Internet is not something that you click on. What is it? What is the internet? It's a whole system of computers. Yes, what is it? It's a lot of different systems that connect with each other. Yes, what is it? What is the internet? What does it mean? It means two things: information and knowledge. Information and knowledge, if you take out these two, there's no internet. It's just a name. So information and knowledge started mushrooming to everyone. The first millennium, remember, I only know my house, my village, my community. The internet broke the barrier. The internet said there's no more country, there's no more borders, there's no more isolation. You can reach out anywhere, everywhere. All 8 billion people in this world, if you have a laptop and a Wi-Fi, like what Amira said, you can talk to each other. So this information and knowledge that the internet brought about, and still in its infancy in the last part of the previous millennium, that is going to explode. Dr. K spoke about AI, which is a small little explosion from the internet. And that small little explosion can do wonders and change stuff. What is it that will change? How will your life change? Because I'm talking about life being redefined in this millennium as opposed to the previous. If you have any grandfathers or grandparents still alive, and talk to them, ask them, what is life? And there are only 4 phases to life. You're born, you grow up, you work, and you die. And that's what your grandparents and your great-grandparents and your great-great-grandparents did. And some of us are doing that today. That structure is going to change. You're no longer going to have these 4 phases. Talk about a structure of education, schooling. You have to go to a primary school. Then you have to go to a secondary school. Then you have to go to a college. Then you do your master's. Then you do your doctorate. And when you've finished everything and you've finished studying whatever you want to study, and you apply for a job, and you go to the company and you apply for a job, and they say, throw away everything that you have learned because I am going to tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. So you take all your last 20 years of academic knowledge and information, throw it away, and listen to this guy who's going to tell you what to do in your 9-to-5 job and gives you a paycheck at the end of every month. That structure is going to change. And part of it was already touched upon by Amira. Do I need traditional classrooms or can I do online? Which, if you take one more step and you ask yourself, why do we even have schools? What do schools do? Schools serve the primary function of transferring information and knowledge. By the way, I just spoke about internet, which gives you information and knowledge. So now I've got a school which is giving you information and knowledge, which is easier to just strike off. So will schools be around 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now? We got 1,000 years in this millennium, right? Schools may no longer be there. Will governments be around in the next 300 years? Why do I need a government? I have my house, which is defined by these 4 walls and a roof. 1 million of those houses makes up a country, small country. And to rule these people, I have a government. If the internet is borderless, if trading is borderless, if people have stopped fighting, unless they've got political reasons to fight, why do I need a government to tell me what I should do and shouldn't do? Why do I even need a government? What is the purpose of the government? So governments may no longer exist. Schools, colleges, and the way we educate the children may no longer be the same. The way we die may not be the same anymore. We could be just like on the screen, and you don't like this picture, and you just rub it off, and you're gone. So all these systems and structures that the last 1,000 years focused on is slowly going to disappear in this next 1,000 years. COVID was a fantastic experience. Nobody thought they could work from home. Nobody thought they could learn from home. And we all did that. So if you think about your life and how it has been, and if you are going to live for another 400-500 years, imagine how it's going to change. Thank you.
I think all of you will agree, all the speakers are excellent. You? Okay, give them again another round of applause. Okay. Last but not least, I should thank our Infinity Tria. Give her a round of applause as well. Actually, Firas and Amira, a product of her. Which is the one actually. Okay. So in future, we might want to have this same kind of talk. Okay, maybe we'll give opportunity to others. Okay. So thank you again for attending this. That's all I can tell you. Okay, thank you so much. We'll meet you again.